Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our mastermind call tonight. Now, I know that we have so much challenges tonight with load shedding, level 6, and most people do not have electricity, and it is freezing cold. Well, anyway, according to our South Africans, but it is going to be such an exciting call tonight. We are so privileged to have Corinne Van Der Moolen from the Netherlands with us. And we had the privilege of meeting her about 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago in Croatia. And I have to say, one of my highlights of the event was actually an impromptu meeting that was set up by the Diamonds, where anybody could ask them questions about how they built their business, what mistakes did they make, and just it was an open forum, and it was so insightful. Now, if I learned one thing from Corinne, it is that she's a straight shooter. She says things like it is. And I hope that's going to be the case tonight, but I'm sure it is because every interaction that I had with her was all about that. I mean, she tells you what you need to do, how you need to do it, and she makes no story about it. So, Corinne, thank you for joining us on this Mastermind call. We are very excited to have you here, and we would like to invite you. I mean, I've already invited you to South Africa, but we would like to extend that invite even further in front of everybody and say, please welcome, come to South Africa and come share your knowledge with us. But let's start the call, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I loved meeting so many of the South African team, the Silvers and above in Croatia, and had good chats with many of them. And yeah, I was really excited to have this Zoom call and hopefully inspire you guys. And yeah, I am a straight shooter. I tell it like it is because there's no beating around the bush. I don't have soft gloves on in business because, yeah, that doesn't suit anyone. So I'd rather say it straight to your face, but with honesty and love, much love. So yes, so that's a little bit who I am. And I would love to come to South Africa. It probably will be next year, but 100%. It's been on top of my list of countries that I want to visit, and since I was young, so and I haven't yet. So 100% I'm coming.
We are very glad to hear that. So would you start off by telling us a little bit about your story?
Yeah, sure. I started with Young Living in 2014. Due to my oldest son, he has autism, ADHD, and I was just, looking for something to not so much for his condition, but more for his emotional needs to help him. And I stumbled upon natural products, and Young Living was one of them, and I didn't believe anything of it. I really thought this is something that is like, I saw back then there was a lot of uncompliant things online. They really changed that in the last couple of years. So I've been with Young Living 8 years. But back then you could find a lot, and I was like, yeah, this is not true, and this can be true, and all these things I found I didn't believe. And but in the end I used one oil for myself, and it was done. I was a believer, and I never looked back. And the business side came actually very surprisingly, because I roll into it. I didn't even know that there was a business side connected to this. I just started sharing online on my Facebook, and got like 85 replies of people like, hey, what's that? They wanted to know more. And they started ordering with me through my ER. And my friend who I bought the starter kit from, my upline, she changed her number to my number. And that's why people ordered underneath me the starter kit. And I had no clue, really, I didn't know. And after a month, I got a check in the mail that I almost threw away for around 300 euros. And luckily I didn't throw it away. I saw that it was like a check, and I was surprised, and I took a photo, sent it to my friend in the States that I signed up under, and asked her, what's this? And she said, yeah, that's your commission. And I was like, my what? And she said, yeah. And she explained the whole business side of Young Living. And I said, yeah, well, no, I don't have any time for that. I worked 40 plus hours. I don't need extra money. I had a pretty successful photography business. I was known, worldwide. So I wasn't looking for anything like this. But yeah, when you're not looking, things come to you in the most unexpected ways. And within 2 weeks, I got so many good feedback from the people that bought the oils, one oil or a starter kit, and their responses and tears actually made me so happy. And even with my own son and myself, I saw really good results. And I just wanted to share that. And in the Netherlands, there was not very much yet. I asked 4 friends to join me, and 4 of them, 2 of them said yes, and the other 2 said no. One of them said a year later yes, and the other one 2 years later, regretting not saying no from the beginning, as you can imagine. But yeah, I grew very quickly, like when I understood the business. And said, okay, let's do this. The same month I was executive, and the next month I was a silver. A year later I was diamond, not diamond, I was gold, and then 4 months later platinum, and a year later, exactly 3 years after I started, I was a diamond. And it's been a great journey with ups and downs, and like any business. But it's I still have my heart with Young Living, and always come up with new ideas, new ways of being active again. So yeah, this is a little bit of my story.
But that's really interesting for me, because a lot of people that I've heard is that they stumble into the business, or the business found them, right?
I know, yeah.
So what, for you, if you had to do something different, because it's an amazing journey, right? So before the difference, but do you want to tell us, so when you said you started focusing on exactly the business, that's when things started happening. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that mindset shift, and what has happened, and what did you have to do?
So actually, I did it quite quickly after my friend told me, like, hey, there's a business opportunity. I told her, like, okay, let me think about it for 2 weeks. I actually wanted to say no, because that was in my mind. I will tell her, like, I will think about it. But after those 2 weeks, I said, actually, yes, I really felt that I wanted to do this. And then I dove into the compensation plan, because I wanted to know, okay, how does this work? What does this mean? And it took me, I think, 2 months before I kind of understood the compensation plan. I'm not so good with these kinds of things. So in the end, I sent her a message, is it like this? And she said yes. And then I immediately invited my friends to join me, because I knew, like, okay, I made the decision to do the business. And so yeah, why wait till people show up to my door to ask me, hey, is there a business? No, because I didn't know myself, so I had to tell them as well. But I have to say that I was very, in the beginning, I think the first couple of, I think a year maybe, it was more on the back end. Like, I wasn't telling them much about the business on my social media. It was more to the people that were already buying the starter kit, that were sharing from themselves, that I said, hey, you know what? And this way I knew how, who would fit this model. And then I was invited to go to Eric Worre. He's a big name in network marketing, and I never heard of him. And Young Living sent me there with other silvers and above in Europe. And we had 3 days with him. And we were actually sitting right in front at a VIP table and had dinners with all these big network marketing names, which I had no clue of. So I have photos with them, but I didn't ask them any important questions, just to say like, okay, can I have a picture with you? I had no clue who they were. But what I remember is that he said something there that changed my whole view of not sharing the business to anyone, that except the ones that I felt like maybe they're already sharing this, I could say, by sharing it actually to everyone. So he said like, who loves the opportunity? And I loved it. I mean, I was in love with it. I was amazed what was changing in my life. So everyone was like, yay, we all, and who is sharing it like openly? And I was not raising my hand because I'm like, hell no, I don't do that. And then he said, if you don't share this, you're taking away a big chance to change someone's life. Why would you keep something that made you so happy and change your life for the better? Why would you keep that from someone? And I was like, whoa, okay, this is like, why did I not share this? And that changed everything, because if my friend hadn't said it to me, I actually wouldn't know, and my life would still be the same as back then. And it wouldn't have changed so dramatically, like in a short term of time. And since then, I started sharing about the business opportunity. Like it's like a menu. Young Living has like a starter, a dinner, or an entree and a dessert, but the opportunity is also a product of Young Living. And I started sharing my journey, my traveling with Young Living. And in the end, I got actually a lot of people wanting to do the business straight from the start, because I always also shared the business straight from the start. Not by telling them all about the business, but by inviting them to my team and sharing to them why I would love to work with someone like them. And that actually opened up, I think 9 out of 10 people that I sign up are doing the business straight from the start, or just a little bit after. They know that there is a place for them in my team if they want it. And I think most of the people are afraid that they will be looked upon like, oh my gosh, there she is, she wants to make money off me, and etc., etc. But if you have this amazing opportunity in your life, and you had to travel to Croatia, many of you, and which you might not ever have done before, I mean, that is amazing. Financially, you have maybe a little bit more freedom after you turn silver and above. And even though it's hard work, that's always what I tell them. It doesn't come easily, but it changed my life. It changed my life completely. And I wish this upon everyone.
That's I think that's a very important message, I think, for all of us to hear, because I think a lot of people are feeling that to talk about the business opportunity is sort of salesy.
Yeah,
Because
they wait way too long. I see this also in my team. They're afraid because it comes off as salesy. I actually never got that comment from anyone. I don't lead with money or money opportunities and all these things. I don't lead with that. I just tell them like, maybe you love it just as much as I do. And so when they bought just a starter kit, and then I say, I would love to work with someone like you in my team, because I can see you're very caring about people and you're always helping anyone before yourself. Am I right? And this could be someone that I don't know, but I learn a lot about the color personalities and which kind of color matches a certain profession, like the yellow type are often people that are teachers or nurses. So very helpers, they're helpers and team members. So if I always ask a stranger that sits in front of me that want to know more about the oils, what their profession is. And from that, I actually know what kind of type this person is and what kind of characteristics this person has. So I can actually then say, I can see that you're you know, very caring, and you probably help a lot of people, and they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I am. And then what you do, and that is all what I'm saying, I invite them because I see something in them that I would love to have in my team. And they feel actually seen as a person. And I don't say anything else about the business. If you're ready, just come to me. And some people, like if you have a red in front of you, they will say, okay, sign me up, tell me more. And blue probably as well. But yes, the yellows and the greens, they need sometimes a little bit more time, but often they come. And this is a very not pushy way to talk about that there's a business opportunity. It's so easy. And if you don't do this and you keep your mouth shut, you won't grow. You know, it can take forever before someone in your team finds out that there is, or one of your members finds out that there is actually a business opportunity. And that they're like, oh, why didn't you tell me? I would have loved to do this. And, you know, I have had those people in my team that later on or wanted to sign up with me. And I said, you're friends with her and she's in my team. Oh, I thought she was just, this was her hobby. They don't take her seriously because she doesn't say, I started a business. So please say, even though you haven't sold one kit yet, if you decide to do the business side, tell people I started a business. Tell them I started a business. This is what I do. So you take yourself seriously, but others will too. You know, they know that one, if they have to know, or they maybe hear, maybe they don't like oils, but they know you, they know what you share on your social media or in real life. And if they have someone that is looking for someone with oils, they will tell them, oh, you have to go to my friend. She knows everything. This is her business. She helps people. Instead of that, like, oh, you have to Google. Because if you don't say it for yourself out loud, why would they come to you?
Yeah, very true. So do you still talk to strangers in front of you, or did you stop that at a certain stage when you reach a certain level? When
I talk about the business, I can talk about it like everywhere. Like for instance, if I was at the hairdressers, a new hairdresser, and I was going to Ecuador to the Platinum Retreat, and I had to have my hair done just before we went. And I said, oh, thank you for, you know, fitting me in, because I forgot about that, you know, about my hair, and because I'm leaving in a couple of days to Ecuador. Oh, are you going on a vacation? So I do this so smart. I create openings. Like I never am the one, oh, I'm doing a oil business without them asking me what I do. So I create openings, and this is really interesting. So I say something like this, and they ask, oh, are you going on a holiday? I said, well, yes and no. I got this as a gift from my business, and I go with my partner, and a free gift to Ecuador. And what kind of business do you do? So I never said anything. I just said something like, oh, this is what I got. And then we start talking about, oh, I work with essential oils, blah, 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 blah. And I share with them that I hit a certain rank, and then you get all these trips. And they got interested. And okay, do you have a card? Yes, I have a card. Oh, and what? Or sometimes they ask me, what are essential oils? Please always take, like for me, especially in the first couple of years, I've always had the whole starter kit oil, every oil from the starter kit with me, like everyone, and a deeper relief roll on. I was ready, prepared, and like sample bottles, a little bit of V6 cards. I had everything with me. So another thing, how you can create openings, was like standing at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8:15 next to a soccer mom at a soccer game that my sons had to do. And I was tired, and I pulled out my peppermint, just put a drop on my hand and did the peppermint rush. And I was like breathing in the peppermint. And she was like looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, give me your hand. So instead of saying something about it, let them experience it. So I gave her a little drop and said, okay, close your eyes and just breathe it in. And afterwards she said, oh my gosh, what is this? And then you start talking about it. So if you start talking too soon about the business or oils, or I have something for you, no, they're often like, oh, there you have her again with the oils. I'm not interested. They're not open to receive your information. But if you create an opening where they're like, what do you do? Or for instance, in the beginning, I said like, how are you, Corinne? Oh, I'm busy. I just started a new business. Then they will ask, what kind of business? And then you have your opening, and then you can talk because they're ready to listen. And don't tell them too much. Just tell them once you see they're interested, you say, okay, let's talk later. I will call you this week. Let's set up, let's get some lunch or tea, and I'll let you experience all the oils in my house. That's it. Just keep it nice, simple, and sweet, and they will come. And then you can actually see like, okay, this is my favorite. Or if someone comes at your house, ask them, oh, I was just preparing my diffuser. What do you want to have in it? Most of them are like, what is a diffuser? And they say, come here, come over here. Okay, I was thinking about these two, but how do you find them? And let them smell it. And this is creating openings. I can create so many openings. I'm very creative. Everywhere I go, my friends are like, even in my business team, often they're all with me and they're like amazed, like, how do you do this? Like, and I love doing that, starting that conversations with people, getting them interested. And not all of them will be a member, but I love to share Young Living with them, the opportunity, but also the product. So yeah, it's creating openings and inviting people in your team. It's making it very easy to come off not as salesy at all. Because for me, if your intention is that you want to help people, and let's be honest, 99% of us, this is why we started the business, because we had a great experience and we want multiple people to experience the same. That is why we're sharing. Why would you think you come off as salesy? That is not your intention. So if someone else will say that to you, that's from them. That's not never coming from you. So don't make it personally. Don't do that. It really says everything about the other person and not so much about you. So if your heart is pure and you're like, hey, I really want to help people, never think that you're salesy. Please don't ever feel that way or be afraid of that, because it's not true. It's in your mind, and most people that ever bought a starter kit from you will never say you're salesy, because you saw a need with them and you help them, fulfill that need. And yeah, I think you have to see that more than someone who is against MLM and says, oh, those always sales pushing and all these things, which is totally not true. That's not how we work.
That's amazing. So the one question I want to ask you is, so you said that when you found out about the business, you took about 2 months to understand the compensation plan. So I know a lot of people first want to learn about all the oils, and they first want to learn all the benefits and what you can do, and they first want to understand everything about the compensation plan before they start the business.
No, jump in.
What would be your advice around that?
Well, also here is depending on the color personality type. Like a green personality type really needs to have all the information first. So they actually need a little bit more time because of their need to have everything clearly. That gives them the confidence to do this. So a red doesn't need that. They just jump straight in and see however it goes. I just start doing. The blues often start talking and sharing, and the yellows start slowly here and there. And so I don't think there's one way to do it, but I'm actually now trying to come up with a whole new thing to help new people more according not only to their personality type, but also their learning style. So I'm coming up with something completely new. Once it's done, first in Dutch, and then I will translate to English. And if it's really working, I will share this with everyone. Sorry. So I really try to look at everyone as an individual. So not like one thing works with everyone. You have to find out, like social media. If you hate social media, don't do it because your friend is awesome at it, you know, because that will give you a lot of negative energy and it will cost you a lot of energy because it's not you and people will not respond to you at all. So you really have to find out what is you, but don't wait till you know everything about an oil or the company or the compensation plan, because you already know more than someone who is completely new and never heard of Young Living. So they don't know that there's even more information. And I think that that is something, and if you tell them like, if I don't have an answer for your question, I will write it down and come back to you. And you ask your upline to help you if you don't have the answer. And they just appreciate you for your honesty and getting back to them with an answer. They just want the answer. So it doesn't matter, like the Greens can get stuck in the information and their challenge is to actually, you know, start. They just need to make a decision and then start. Yeah, so it's interesting. There's not one way to do it. I really try to look at everyone, but when you're stuck and not moving, something needs to change.
So I think for me, the main thing that I hear is that creating opportunities to have the conversation is the opening, but it's
Yes.
also you have to understand who that person is that you're speaking to, and then speaking to that person in whatever their needs are. Because it's no use that you're speaking, so say for instance, you start speaking to somebody about the business opportunity, but then you show them the product catalog, right? So it's all about speaking and giving that person the information that they need. So what is the best, what is the hardest lessons that you've learned in your journey with Young Living? What is
There's a couple. I think the hardest for me was losing my leaders, or not losing, but when we started, we did everything together. Like there was nothing in Dutch. So we had to translate everything. So we as a team, young team, started to do everything, translating stuff, getting a lot of education out there for our members and everything. But after 3 years, I saw that the leaders that I worked with, their ego got a little bit in their way, and they thought like, I don't want to help your whole team. I just want to help my team. So so my top line, silvers and above, they all started doing that, and then they actually realized that in the end, instead of doing 5% of the business, or the translating, or adding something to the educational for my whole team, was that they have now had to do 100% of their time that for their whole team, and that costed them a lot of energy, because there often wasn't enough help from their own team or response from members, and then I saw that they got stuck at a certain level or drop down. And I actually, for me, I need a team. For me, my personality needs a team around me, because I cannot do it alone. So I got stuck as well. So we stayed stuck like a while. And I also think that this was at the stage where, I think this was, Chantel, I see. Yeah, I saw it. And this is also at the stage after 2 to 3 years where a lot of people go from their warm market, where everything goes smoothly, into their cold market. And all of a sudden, everything you're doing is not working anymore. No one is responding. No problem, Chantel. No one is responding, and you're putting a lot of effort in the things that you normally would get response on. But this is where things change, you know, and you have to redefine your business again and your strategy. And this is where I saw that a lot of people quit or just not pursuing the business side as much anymore. Maybe if they're silver or above, they ordered 100 PV and that's it. And they started going back to what they were used to, like getting into their comfort zone again, which was like maybe some of them were photographers, back to the photography, because, you know, and then they had to work hard again instead of, because they experienced a lot of no's or no, low energy, etc. But what I see is that you just need to fine tune. You have to fine tune your business when you get into a cold market. When you run out of your warm market, you need to expand your network. You need to find new people, or if you have members, try to use their network. You have to extend your network. Otherwise, you're talking around circles to most people that already know about your oils, or that are not interested, or that already bought it. So you have to come up with new ideas constantly to expand your business, and do collaborations with other people, so you can have more new followers coming in and who will then buy the products again. But it takes time. It takes time to readjust every single time and come up with new creative ideas to keep doing this business. But it's, and also look at where your energy is lacking. That is something you should change. Otherwise, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't get any fun from this. I don't get any energy from this. I will start doing things again that makes me happy. And this is not about Young Living. It's just, you have to shift your perspective. You have to shift your way of working. It could very well be that you've been carrying everything for your whole team with no response, like, and no growth. And then you're like, I'm done. You know, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, bye-bye, everyone. I don't hear anything from you. And then you also think that your business, your team is responsible for your business, but that's not, and your growth. And if I want to grow, when I started I decided to go for diamonds, I had to build like a whole leg up to 15,000. I asked one of my friends if she wanted to, you know, be the head of the leg, and she said yes. But she was not very active, and the people that were also in her team were not really big business builders. So I myself placed 47 people under that team, which many of them were business builders. And by doing that, myself, because I wanted to grow to diamonds, I was responsible for my growth, not them. Because if I would have waited on them, like I've never would have been a diamond, because they just didn't have like the drive to pursue this business as much as I did. So don't wait till people in your team show up, but you show up. It's your business. So if you want to grow, you grow, and be the example to your team. And you can ask for help. I think that that is also something what I would advise you to do if you are overwhelmed, or, you know, don't be afraid to ask your team for help. Or if you want to hit a goal and you're almost there, ask your team for help. Most of them, like 70%, are yellow greens, and they love to help. And they often do more for you than they would do for themselves. So I've seen that in my team many times, that we can grow like that. And we cheer each other on, and we want accomplishments for each other. So yeah, I think that is what my advice would be, you know, and where my struggles were. But I never see it as struggles. I see it as a challenge. And I think that's also something like, I don't see it as a negative something. I've never been like, I want to quit. Never, ever. I love the company. I love the products. And yeah, I want to bring this to everyone. So, and yeah, we have down periods. I have myself, I've been out of most of the business actively for 3 years due to a divorce and a lot of things around that. And I'm finally getting back to that, but I never started enrolling. I never stopped enrolling during that time. It slowed down, but I've always enrolled. Like I never stopped doing the business just because I had personal things going on. You just have to make your priority. So my mental health and everything with that had my priority above the business. But I was very honest with that to myself and to my team. And I think that's good. But you know, I've never left. So now I'm actually coming back more than before. And I'm very happy to put that energy back into my business again, because yeah, I want to be a crown diamond.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think where you said that you went from the warm market to the cold market, or you grew fast and then you slowed down, or you lost a lot of people. That is exactly where a lot of our people in South Africa is at the moment.
Yeah,
Purely because when the market opened, you know, the
it
initial
goes
market,
up.
it goes up, and then you speak to everybody that you know and you share. And so now we're in that slump where where do we go from here? So what you're speaking, if you can sort of give us advice on that mindset shift.
Yeah, I
Started
think
from-
also, yeah, I think what I see is after people hit silver, then we start focusing more on our team, on coaching our team and all these things. So we shift our focus from enrolling people, getting new brand partners and getting people on ER to doing a lot of stuff for your team. And this is actually connected also to getting from your warm to your cold market. This is where you start doing all these things that has nothing to do with growing your own business. So we have to be aware of that where am I spending my time actually at? And is this productive for my business or not? And yeah, maybe you know, coaching your team, that is could be very productive. But if it's 80% of your time and you stop almost enrolling or getting new people or sharing yourself, then like I said, then you're depending on your team to grow instead of you growing. So I think you have to have like a kind of a reality check. Where am I in my business? Am I still having a positive energy about it? Do I have to fine tune what I've done before that doesn't work anymore, when no one is responding on anymore? Can I collaborate with other people on social media or in real life? Maybe a yoga studio. Go take a couple of classes and ask if she's ever done aroma yoga. If she haven't, okay, share with her about the oils. And this way, you know, you can get a collaboration and probably have a new brand partner. Try to see like, where can I find new business people? Because that is in the end how we grow. And new members, you know, there's a lot of people going to a yoga class, and if you incorporate the oils in the business. So I always work with a lot of people that have already some kind of business, coaches or whatever. And what I love is to help them incorporate the oils in their already existing business. So they don't have the feeling that I need to have two separate businesses. No, you can have one business and run another business at the same time. So it's fine tuning. It's fine tuning and keep getting like a positive energy from it. I think that is, if you can keep that, that is the most important thing. Because then you are motivated to do more. If it's, yeah, so I have an exercise which you could write down if you want. It's like 3 circles, like one circle here, other one here, other one here. And the first group is the people that you give energy to. So look at all the people that you spend time with, even if it's your neighbors or walking the dog of the neighbors, whatever, your husband, your children, family, work, related, even your team, put people that you give energy to in that first group. So you don't get any energy from them, only you give. And write down all the names of the people and then put a percentage of your time that you spend with this group. Then in the second group, you write down the people that you give energy to, but they give energy back. So it's like going like this. For me, that's my best friends. Like I get like energy from them and they get energy from me. It's a really nice vibe to be around. So write that down again, the names of those people, and again, the percentage of time that you spend with those people. Then you have the third circle, and this is actually where you get energy from. And that is, it could be a guru, or, you know, for some people like a Tony Robbins or an Eric Worre, someone you don't know personally, but for some people it's God, you know, reading the Bible, getting inspiration from that. It's something that gives you energy, that gives you insight, that gives you something new that you learn. So it gives you energy and it doesn't get any energy back from you. So how much of your time are you spending with that group? So it could be a coach that you love and doing like a course with them, so you learn and you grow yourself. That gives you energy. So put that name in those names in that circle, and put again, how much of your time are you actually doing that? Because if you look at that, often we see that we spend almost all our time in group one. And that is not giving you any growth because you're giving. It's not, this is, the third group is growing. And often a lot of people only have 1 or 0 people in this group, or even if they have, it's like 10% of their time or less they spend with this. And this is actually where your growth is. Because if you give all your energy, guess where your energy will be? It's very low because you're depleted. You know, if you need to give a lot, even if it's in your own family, like, you know, I have a special needs child, so I know that it's for me very important to take time for myself to spend time with group 2 and 3. Otherwise, I'm depleted, I'm tired all the time, everything that extra that I need to do, it's too much. It's too much, and I don't have energy to do that. So if it's my business, or, you know, if I spend all my time with my members or with my business members, I don't have any energy left to actually post on social media about Young Living or have chats with new prospects. And so it's very interesting to see where your focus is. Because if you can shift your time, your percentage of your time, and your the energy that you give. So let's say you have 100 people in group 1, and you go from 80% of your time to 30% of your time, and you shift, even though you might have 2 people in group 2 and 1 in group 3, if that is most of your time you spend your energy with, guess what? You get energy, you're hyped up, you're in a high energy. And when you are in a higher frequency and you're higher energy, those are the people you attract. If you're in a low and those are the business builders you want, because those are the people that are like, yes, 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 let's do this. And if you're only spending all your time in group 1, then you have people that are nagging, like, I'm tired, I don't have time for this, blah, blah, blah. You attract those people because your frequency is low. It's all about energy. So try to shift where your focus is on in your business, in your everyday life. It's not just business, but also your everyday life. And try to, even though you might have to spend a lot of time with group 1, try to shift it a little bit so you have more energy coming in with group 2 and 3. And this is where I see a lot of growth in my team if people start doing that.
Oh, that's amazing. So one of the questions that came up in the question was Marissa asking about practical systems of duplication. And I think that was something that was touched on quite a bit in Croatia. Can you give us advice on what practical systems your team has?
Yeah, I'm actually, like I said, I'm working on a whole new system that is more based on individuality and seeing people who they are and what works for them. Because what I've seen so far, I've always worked a little bit like this, but like I had a business boot camp, like 4-week training. And what I saw is that one group never even opened it. They just started, or, you know, so it's very, there's not a one way of duplicating everything because everyone is different. Of course, the basics about compliancy, about the compensation plan. I don't think you should overwhelm them with too much information, especially when they're just starting. But yeah, like I said, I'm working on a whole new system with this. And I actually believe once I have that in place, it will be very good. I think, yeah, and I'm 100% open to share that with anyone within Young Living once I see that it's working, which I feel that it will. It's more specifically based on individual people and what fits their needs and how they actually start. So like, for instance, a green personality, they need lots of information. So what do? I give them lots of information, but then I also want to have them from a thinking phase to a decision-making phase. So then I give them something to go to that phase, and then from that phase to a doing stage. So, and then you have from the doing stage, you have a dreamer stage, and then you go back to the thinking stage. So this is actually a learning method it's called the Kolb method in the Netherlands. I never heard of it. Once I heard of it, it was just click, click, click. I knew like, okay, I can implement this in my Young Living business. So each person that comes in will do a test. There's an online test they could do in Dutch, and that is just online already. And then I know where they start, and then they get a PDF. So a doer, which is often a red personality type, I'm not giving them a whole big PDF with lots of information that they will never read. I will give them like, you can do this, 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 this. I will type it in how it's called in the chat. It's called Kolb method. It's a way of learning. So that the doers, the reds, are actually like, I will tell them very short PDF. These are things that you can do because they're doers. So I give them ideas and they just pick one and they just go. And then I can incentivize them. Like if you sell this first month, 3 or 5 starter kits, you will get like a unicorn roll-on from me or whatever. And guess what? The reds, they love incentives. They love to be pushed, you know, like that. So they will go for it. They will hit those 5 kits. So, and even, and so I can make it like a little competition or whatever for them. So really looking into what is driving and getting mostly what is getting them into action. Yes, Nadia, it's the Kolb's learning styles. Yeah, it is actually for students, it's in business, but it's never, so I'm connecting it to Young Living. So to all the education that I already have and creating things for people that come in. So I think it's really going to be helpful, connected with a color personality, love language, all these different things.
Okay, that's truly amazing. So I wish you luck with that, because we would love to have access to that once it is successful. So we would
absolutely. I do feel that will be very helpful to get people started in their own unique way where they're at.
And I think that for me, that is the key takeaway from this call tonight, right? Is everybody is different. Everybody in your team is individual. You can't send out a message in a WhatsApp group and expect people to respond to it. You have to talk to people and connect to people on a level that is who they are. And
when I write my text in my business group, I always make sure that I reach each color personality type in the way I write, because in the beginning I'm a blue-red, almost 50-50. So, and I write very red. So that's very direct and very bam, bam, bam. and you have to do this and this and this. And then the yellows, I don't have to do anything, you know. And they're like, I don't want to do this. And I was like, what did I say? And often I got like some response of them. Like, I was like, what? How can they read that in my, this is not the way I intended to write this, or this is not my intention. So I learned the hard way to really fine-tune the way I write. And sometimes I even send it to one of my members who is a yellow, like, can you read this? Is this okay? And then if she says yes, I know that everyone will understand actually what I'm saying. So I toned it down a little bit because, like I said, we have 70% yellows and greens, and they read differently than the reds and the blues. So, and it's all good, but I want to reach everyone in my team.
Yeah, I can relate to that so much because I had to learn to open an email and say, hi, how are you doing? Because I just went straight into instruction.
That's how I write. Yes, I am like, hi, I don't even ask, how are you doing? And then later on, I get a response, hi, Corinne, how are you doing? I'm like, I didn't ask them. Like, it's very a mirror to me. Like, okay, I need to, like a friend of mine just even said to me, Corinne, you always say, you don't ask me to do something, you just say, do this for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. So now I'm actually, because it's not my intention, because we can come across as dominant as a red. And actually now when I'm talking with him, I actually am very aware of the things, if I need something of him, to ask, can you please do this? And then he's looking at me like, because he sees that I'm trying. And I think that I love that people actually can call me out of it, on it, because it's not my intention to be that way, but I totally understand how it could come across with someone else.
Yeah, and I think that is where self-awareness comes in. That's why it's important to surround yourself with people that can actually be a mirror to you and give you that open and honest feedback. And that's why it's important to have all types in your team. We've got about a few minutes left. Is there anything else that you think is important to share with us?
Maybe there's someone else that has a question. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, they can unmute themselves and ask.
Corinne, I find it very difficult to not overshare. I'm highly read.
Yeah.
You know, especially when I enroll someone, not to overshare. I mean, I've met someone on the airport on my way back from Croatia, and then this guy was very interesting in the oils. And I mean, like last night, I did send him some information. I've tried to stay to the 4 diffusers and the starter kit. And then, you know, I was waiting, and then I wanted all this information, and it's like, I just want to finish this now. This needs to be now a set and done deal. I mean, who doesn't want the oils? And now it's a day later and he didn't respond. Now I'm like, okay,
so
now.
Yes, so he probably or needs more. So for me, it's very important, not so much who I am as a color personality, but who is the other person. So once I know that, and like I said, it's very easy. There's a booklet that you can order through Amazon. It's called the Color Personalities. I think it's from the 4 color personalities. I'm trying to see if I can see it here. It's from L. It's from Big L. Big L. That's his name, and it's the most perfect, easy written booklet that you can have with good openings and everything in it. So if you haven't have it, Big L Snyder, it's his name. Yeah, Color Personalities MLM, something like that on Amazon. It's less than 10 euros. It's amazing. So dive into that. And always, if you meet strangers, ask them, what is your profession?
That's good.
Because this is also in that booklet. It gives you a list of professions with people that have green personality, all these things, and then how you can proceed. But when you understand this, if he's a green, he needs more information. Hey, we talked, what kind of information do you need from me? Are you still interested? If they say yes, what kind of information do you need from me?
That's good. Yes,
there's an author called Thomas Erickson as well that has written a range of books. It's called Surrounded by Idiots. surrounded by psychopaths,
Yes.
surrounded by bad bosses, and there's a whole range, and it all delves into the color personalities and how to
Yes.
deal with each of them. So that's also a very good reference to have, and I was actually reading that on my way to Croatia, and I'm learning a lot about color personality. So
I will type in the where my brand partners have to do a test. Okay. This is someone who actually was in Young Living who passed, but he also written a book about the 4 color personalities and also have a test. So if you, so for me, I want to know if I have a new brand partner, what color personality are you? Because sometimes I have a leg in that is almost all yellows. Guess what? It's not working. You need a red, a blue, a green in there. So if I have someone, I can, you know, place them in that team to give them a little bit more balance in that team.
That's good. Thank you.
It's very, yeah, currently on sale for €5. So $5. Go get that book. It's very good. So the link it's in the chat.
Awesome. I don't know if there's any other questions. Thank you, really. We are so grateful that you spent your time with us and sharing your wisdom. I got so much from this call. So thank you once again from everybody. I don't know if anybody else still has a question. If you have a question and you're watching this on YouTube, please guys send it to me. I will
come back. I will come.
I will forward to Corinne and we can set up a follow-up meeting because this is really awesome. Thank you very much for your time and have a wonderful day, and we are looking forward to see you on South African soil.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, next time I see the whole team with internet this time. And but thank you all who came here and shared your time with me and for listening. Have a great evening and talk to you soon.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.